human body has a warranty for 40 years. So for the first 40 years, whatever you do, the body can take it up. But after that, we need to be more vigilant and more conscious about our choices. And that's what we're going to discuss about. So I'm a physio, so I've been working with a lot of adult as well as pediatric population with various neurological disorders. So let me start my discussion with by sharing my screen, and we're going to discuss about how to get stronger, live better, and retraining muscles in old age. So I'm primarily going to focus on the muscle part of it. So what is the best method to remain healthy in old age? Can somebody just tell me what is the best thing to do? Any thoughts, any questions, any ideas? Maybe I would like to have one or two answers, and then I'll probably continue with my presentation. You're muted, Ashana.
Regular walking?
Yeah, as a regular thing. So what are different
Okay.
things that we need to be focusing on?
Good sleep,
Good sleep, yes.
healthy dieting,
Healthy dieting, perfect. I'll just take one more
and
answer.
exercise.
Exercise, okay, wonderful. And
Regular walk.
yes, so walking can also be considered as an exercise. So there are 6 pillars, and let's talk about the concept of lifestyle medicine. So all of these are important. Just like you rightly pointed out, healthy eating, exercise, restorative sleep, अच्छा एक नींद होना चाहिए. Positive social connections, minimizing risky substances, which primarily I'm focusing on any kind of addiction, because smoking, drinking, and all those things will be part of that, and also stress management. So which also talks about our mental health as well. So all these 6 would be the pillars of lifestyle medication. And today we are going to focus more on the exercise part of it. Okay, as you know, like it's a vast topic. Even exercise itself is a vast topic to be covered within 30 minutes. So I'll try to be more precise and have very clear deliverables. So there are different types of exercise. We all know there are exercises which are aerobic, anaerobic. Then there are exercises which helps you to become stronger. Some people go to the gym and do some workouts. Some people go for a walk. Some people use swimming. Some do athletics, running, and all of that. So there are different types of exercises, and each exercise has a specific purpose. So हर एक का एक कारण होता है, और हम based on what we want, we can do that. So this is called as the dose response curve. So इसमें हम क्या देखते हैं कि at one end there's a sedentary lifestyle. You can see that red image, the person is actually just sitting there. And the other end is you talk about all high energy, high intensity sports. And as you will also know that जब हम बैठे होते हैं तो प्रॉब्लम ज़्यादा आते हैं शरीर के लिए, जैसे कि your body weight increases, your cardiac, your heart activity reduces, your lung capacity reduces, and all of that. The other extreme, where you have sports, is also not like free. It's not like everything is good about it. The more you get into adventure sports or high level sports, the chances of injury also increases. So the recommended range is somewhere in between, which is around 150 to 300 minutes per week of physical activity. So this is the recommended time period of physical activity per week. पूरे हफ्ते में 150 से 300 तक minutes we should spend in physical activity. Okay, so this is the recommended range, so that you are neither sedentary and you don't go to the other extreme and injure yourself. Okay, so the first take home message will be doing some physical activity is better than doing none. कुछ भी करो. Okay, and I would always give this example, like in our old fashioned television, before we got all this remote control TV, we didn't have remote. So which means channel बदलो, उठ के जाके बदलना पड़ता है, right? Volume बढ़ा करो, कम करो, उठ के जाना पड़ता है. Every time you get up, that is some physical activity. Those are, even though it was not, now it's a lot more comfort and convenience, but ideally this is not a very good space to be in from a physical health point of view. So doing some physical activity is always better than doing nothing. Okay. So कब एक्सरसाइज करना चाहिए? We generally say exercise should be done in the morning, which may not be possible for all of us. So any time is fine. Just make sure that there is a consistency. So even if you're doing every afternoon, every evening, everything is fine. The only thing that you have to be aware of is not to do exercise immediately after food, not to do heavy workout for at least 2 hours after having food. Okay, a walking after food is actually recommended. It helps in digestion. Earlier we used to say uh, खाना खाने के बाद walking मत करो. लेकिन nowadays there is a lot of research which has come out that is showing that walking actually helps you in better digestion. Similarly, जितना कम समय आप बैठ सकते हो उतना अच्छा है. So you sit maybe 10-15 minutes, then get up from the seat, and then maybe go do something else, come back, sit for another 15-20 minutes, and then get up. So लगातार 2 घंटे 4 घंटे बैठना अच्छा नहीं है. Okay, so interrupted sitting should be something that we should always be considering. So wherever possible, we can stand and do our work, even if you're attending a meeting like अभी जो हो रहा है. Some of you, if you can do it in standing. That will also help you as well. Staircase is something which we can always use as a choice. Of course, there are other ailments like arthritis and other things which will decide the choice. But again, it's always better to burn calories than electricity, right? So you'll also ensure that your muscle get a workout. And finally, always be aware of the weather, whether it's your friend or foe, because you need to be aware of what is the weather condition. कुछ जगह जैसे हम चेन्नई में हैं, तो चेन्नई में तो ह्यूमिडिटी ज्यादा होता है, बहुत पसीना आता है, right? So then the chances of getting dehydrated is very high compared to Delhi, but in Delhi or some other places you have a lot of we say loo, right? It's like uh, very hot or warm air. So that also has its own list of challenges. So we need to be aware of the weather conditions, and based on that, we should take a call. And many times I see like after Diwali, people say don't go for walk in Delhi because of the air pollution, right? It's always better to be stay indoors when you are going for a walk. So there are some guidelines. The WHO, the World Health Organization, ने कुछ guidelines दिया है. Why I'm putting 18 to 64 is that the same thing applies to more than 65 also. कि 150 to 300 minutes पर activity होना चाहिए, और थोड़ा vigorous होना चाहिए 75 to 150 minutes का. मतलब almost 50% should be more vigorous activity. जैसे कुछ exercises होना चाहिए. Other activity also includes walking, activity also includes cycling or swimming. So सब कुछ activity में हो जाता है, लेकिन 150 minutes थोड़ा और vigorous होना चाहिए. And 2 days per week we should focus on major muscle groups, क्योंकि muscles जो है, muscle का जो strength है वो कम होते जाता है. Okay, so there is something called sarcopenia, which is a part of aging. जो muscle का जो bulk होता है, जो muscle का जो mass होता है, वो mass कम होते जाता है. Okay, so at least 2 days of per week of muscle training is also important. And so some activity has to be done, and जो कुछ भी कर रहे हैं खुशी से करें, do it like an exercise, and encourage activities like enjoyable, like आप कुछ gardening कर रहे हो या कुछ आप zumba कर रहे हो. So those kind of things are always much more better, because not just the physical health, it also helps the mental health, and chances of injury will also increase as the activity increases. So we have to be cautious about that also. So एक्सरसाइज में क्या फायदा होता है कि इट कैन ऑल्सो प्रिवेंट ऑन सम केसेस, इट कैन डिले द प्रोग्रेस. वी कैन नॉट ऑलवेज से सब कुछ प्रिवेंट कर सकता है, राइट? सो इट कैन ऑल्सो डिले इट, एंड यू कैन मेक द क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ बेटर. सो मस्कुलोस्केलेटल में 3 है, मसल होता है, जॉइंट होता है और बोन होता है. तो तीनों में प्रॉब्लम आ सकते हैं, जैसे कि स्कार्कोपेनिया. स्कार्कोपेनिया मतलब मसल बिकम्स वीकर. ऑस्टियोपोरोसिस, which is very common especially in the elderly women more than men, and joint में arthritis. So these all things, अगर हम see our human body is designed to move, हमें बनाया गया है कि हम मूव करें. Okay, so when we don't move, we end up with a lot of problem, not just with the muscle and bone, but also with other parts of it, like your brain. क्योंकि the more you walk, it nourishes the brain, because the brain, you are in touch with the environment, with the nature. And then on top of it, there is a special, I have not mentioned here, there's a special a protein which is called BDNF. It gets secreted, and that is actually uh, protects the brain. So neuroprotective mechanism. So BDNF क्या करता है? That is a type of protein. So walking करने से ही आता है. It also lifts your mood when you are not in good mood. हमें कोई परेशानी हो रही है तो जब एक वॉक जाके आते हैं तो अच्छा लगता है. Right, so it also helps in your mood. It helps prevents degenerative diseases. Same applies to heart and lungs as well. And in addition to this, helps you with immunity, with your sexual health, as well as incontinence. It's a very common thing. Like more than 60 years, almost 1 in 3 people need diapers. Especially many people have diaper use. I mean, have a urine leakage when they are coughing and sneezing. May not be as a daily routine, but जब भी लिफ्टिंग वेट्स होता है या कुछ भी वजन उठाना पड़ता है या फिर स्नीजिंग और कॉफिंग होता है तब इट्स कॉल्ड a type of incontinence called stress urinary incontinence, which is very common. I mean, it's more prevalent in elderly. I would not say common. I would not want to use the word common because it is not normal. Many people think it is normal and it cannot be reversed, but it is not normal. Okay, it is more prevalent among people more than 60. जब हम एक्सरसाइज करते हैं तो हमें कुछ चीज़ों का बारे में जानना पड़ता है कि हमें ये होता है कि कितना एक्सरसाइज करूं, मैं ठीक से कर रहा हूँ कि नहीं कर रहा हूँ, या फिर मैं एक्सरसाइज में फायदा हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. राइट, तो दिस आर सम क्वेश्चंस दैट वी हैव. एंड कब मुझे फर्क पड़ेगा, दिखाई देगा, और मैं क्या अभी शुरू कर सकता हूँ या कुछ, इज दिस अ गुड टाइम टू स्टार्ट. So as a general thing, it's always like it's never too late to start. Okay, so it's always whether you are 50, 60, 80, 90, it's never too late to start an exercise. Whatever exercise you can do, even a walking is a good physical activity, and that is something that we have to do that. So this is where we come into, we use the technology. As you are aware now that I represent JOGO. So JOGO is we are using an EMG device. Okay, so EMG का मतलब है electromyogram. This is very similar to ECG. All of you are aware of ECG, right? Right. So this ECG is like your the heart produces electrical activity which you are able to capture, and we see that in a graph. Right. So that is ECG. Similar to ECG, there is EMG, electromyogram. ECG is electrocardiogram. So ये EMG क्या करता है, हम इसको शरीर पे किसी भी मसल पे लगा सकते हैं और हम देख सकते हैं कि ये मसल कितना काम कर रहा है, कैसे काम कर रहा है. Okay, so this is gives you a real time live feedback जो हमें which we cannot find otherwise. Okay, so I'll just show you that. So this is the device. As you can see, it's connected to the hand muscles and it shows on a tablet screen. So that's why we talk about AI and digital therapy. तो जब ये मूव करता है, हम हाथ को हिलाते हैं तो ये ग्राफ भी बदलता है. And unlike ECG, because you cannot change your graph in ECG, it's not under our control. It is opposite here. This is EMG is under our control. Voluntary muscle. This is skeletal muscle, right? So ये हम बढ़ा भी सकते हैं, कम भी कर सकते हैं. Okay, so we can do that and we'll tell you exactly what is happening. So इसमें से हम क्या कर रहे हैं कि we are not just working on the muscle, we are also training the brain. That's what we call it as a plasticity. Plasticity का मतलब है जैसे हम प्लास्टिक होता है ना, लाइक यू हैव प्लास्टिक्स, राइट? प्लास्टिक कैन बी टेक डिफरेंट फॉर्म्स. लाइक वाटर बॉटल हो सकता है, टेलीविजन रिमोट हो सकता है, कोई बॉक्सेस हो सकते हैं, या फिर डस्टर हो सकता है, और कुछ भी एनीथिंग. प्लास्टिक कैन चेयर हो सकता है, टेबल हो सकता है. सो प्लास्टिक कैन टेक एनी फॉर्म. सो सिमिलर टू दैट आवर ब्रेन इज ऑल्सो वेरी मैलिएबल. मैलिएबल का मतलब है कि ये बदल सकता है. इट्स नॉट रिजिड. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि ब्रेन जो एक बार बन गया, एक बार हम बड़े हो गए तो ब्रेन बदलता नहीं है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. तो ब्रेन कॉन्स्टेंटली कीप्स इवॉल्विंग एंड चेंजिंग ओवर लाइफ स्पेन. पूरे लाइफ स्पेन पे ब्रेन बदलता ही रहता है बेस्ड ऑन एक्सपीरियंसेस. हम अक्सर देखते हैं कि जो एंड ब्रेन डजंट नो व्हाट इज राइट एंड रॉन्ग. Whatever is the experience, whatever we are feeding the brain, that is what the brain learns. So it always adapts. It always is. It's like a very good student. It's like there was a movie, Rajnikant ka movie tha in, it's Robo, right? I'm not sure how many of you have seen that in Hindi as well. but it's like a robo, right? It's like you whatever instructions you give, it will follow and it will take it to be real. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to give them the right kind of a input to the brain. And जब हम एक्सरसाइज करते हैं तो हम हमें पता नहीं है होता है कि हम सही कर रहे हैं कि गलत कर रहे हैं, तो हम अगर गलत ही लगातार करते रहें तो ब्रेन वही उसी को सही समझने लगता है. Okay, that is what the problem is, right? So with this device is also approved by US FDA and CDS को इंडिया का है, FDA US का है. So this is a very safe device and there is no stimulation, there is no current, nothing goes into the body. जैसे ECG का, ECG में भी कोई शरीर के अंदर करंट नहीं जाता, शरीर जो करंट को उत्पन्न करता है, पैदा करता है, उसको हम लेते हैं, right? So that's what this also does. And so we to the users we tell them we are not passing current, we are taking current. Okay, so that is absolutely safe. It can be used for pregnant women, it can be used for children, it can be used for elderly as well. So I'll just show you a quick demonstration on how this works.
Demonstration.
These are electrodes which are the same as that we use in ECG, and we attach this on any part of the body where we want to measure how the muscle is working. So the surface EMG can be applied for all superficial muscles. This is our sensor and this is our own patented product. With this, we're able to see the output on a tablet screen. So therefore, we call it as a digital therapeutics. We use alcohol swabs to prepare the skin, and it also reduces the skin resistance. For the sake of demonstration, I'm going to do it on the wrist extensors. I connect the electrodes with the lead and then stick it on to the part of the body. I connect this with a strap. I click on the JOGO app and update the patient information. So the tablet is connected to the sensor by Bluetooth. Up, down, up, down. Now what you can see is that this is giving a real-time feedback to her. As and when she's lifting it up, you can see the graph going up. When she comes down, the graph comes down. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. This is a frame where I have captured her response, and I can always send it by email to any person. The biggest advantage of JOGO is that if the patient is completely active, as they move, they are able. I'll just stop here. It's a longer video. So the idea here is that we are able to look at the muscle activity live, and we can connect on any muscle from head to toe. So we can look at leg muscles, hand muscles, the trunk muscles. Even we also use it for treating other conditions like headache also, migraine headaches. So हमें एक ग्राफ मिलता है, तो उस ग्राफ से हम बहुत सारी चीजें जान पाते हैं कि कितना मसल एक्टिविटी हुआ था, कितने देर they were able to maintain it, what is the resting potential, muscle relax हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. Many times we focus too much on strengthening, and we have found that it's the other way around. Many people with back pain actually have overactive muscle. The muscle जो है वो relax नहीं करता. Okay, so इसके कारण उनको बैक पेन ज्यादा होता है. So it can be both ways. So we can do both. We can use this to train a person to relax an overactive muscle, or also increase the strength of a underactive muscle. So this is a small example of how we can use it for identifying muscle exercises and whether the person is doing it right or wrong. Here we have connected to the triceps. So triceps मतलब है जो elbow extension करता है वो muscle है. हम सभी बाइसेप्स जानते हैं, the opposite side of biceps, back side of biceps. तो हम जब ये आप देख रहे हैं कि पहले टुवर्ड्स ग्रेविटी कर रहे थे, अब ये अगेंस्ट ग्रेविटी कर रहे हैं द वीडियो में. ओके, सो देयर आर डिफरेंट डिमांड्स ऑन द मसल, टुवर्ड्स ग्रेविटी, अगेंस्ट ग्रेविटी. अब इनके हाथ में एक डंबल है, वेट है, तो उस वेट को अगेंस्ट ग्रेविटी उठा रहे हैं. तो अगेंस्ट ग्रेविटी, अगेंस्ट रेसिस्टेंस, एंड इसको जस्ट होल्ड कर रहे हैं. Or finally, you will see that we are doing a wall push-ups. So ये सभी एक ही मसल के लिए एक्सरसाइज है, सेम मसल डिफरेंट एक्सरसाइजेस. ओके, और हम देख रहे हैं कि इन सभी एक्सरसाइजेस में मसल क्या कैसे काम कर रहा है, कितना काम कर रहा है, बिकॉज वी नीड ए नंबर, राइट. अगर हम नंबर जान सकते हैं तो हम बहुत सारी चीजें उसके कर सकते हैं. एंड वी ऑल नो दैट डेटा इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट नाउ. सो हमें नंबर चाहिए होता है. अगर हम नंबर नहीं जानते तो हम अक्सर होता है ना कि हम किसी से पूछते हैं कि कैसे है, तो हाँ हम अच्छे हैं, अभी पहले से अच्छा बेहतर है, कितना बेहतर है हम बता नहीं सकते. right? We cannot say how much is the improvement, what is the change, and so we need a number. So when we check this muscle activity in different things, that's what these are the readings that you see in that particular video, and we clearly found that the wall push-ups is giving me the best response. So of course you don't have to buy a dumbbell or something. It's a wall push-ups which gives you the best activity for this particular person. हम ऐसे इसे generalize नहीं कर सकते. Okay, it depends from person to person. So it's always we have to identify what is best for this particular individual. So हम जब exercise शुरू करते हैं, तो as I said, like there is no time when you can say it's never too late to start. Okay, so you can see the different colored lines. You can look at the legend. The blue line जो है वो lifelong exercise है, जो शुरू से ही exercise कर रहा है, तो even as the age catches up, they are still able to walk and run. जो exercise initiated in middle age में शुरू करते हैं, तो maybe at a later age they're able to walk. Okay, and finally somebody who's sedentary, जो हमेशा बैठे रहते हैं, तो उनका performance down हो जाता है. So it's never too late to do physical activity. तो जब हम कुछ भी सीखते हैं, तो हमारा learning जो होता है, so we are not just talking about exercise, we are talking about learning, because I told you we are also impacting the brain. The brain has to be involved in this entire process. Okay, so जब हम कुछ भी नया सीखते हैं, तो हम 3 stages होता है उसका. The first stage is called cognitive, उसके बाद associative, उसके बाद autonomous. मतलब पहले मेरा पूरा फोकस उस पर होना चाहिए. जैसे मैं आई एम लर्निंग हाउ टू ड्राइव अ कार. Okay, so driving, I'm learning whether it's a car or a two-wheeler, or I'm learning swimming, or I'm learning to play a musical instrument. These are certain things which we do as an adult. जब हम ऐसा कुछ करते हैं, तो cognitive stage पे हम we understand, okay, कहाँ गियर है, कहाँ क्लच है, कैसे दबाना पड़ता है, कैसे गियर को बदलना पड़ता है. Okay, we learn a lot more about that and focus on that. The second stage comes the associative stage. So when I'm driving, I've started driving. So क्योंकि शुरू में क्या होता है कि हम क्लच को हाथ पैर हटाते हैं, तो स्विच ऑफ हो जाता है गाड़ी, right? But after some time you're able to drive, but you're not confident. Okay, so you will always drive a car with a person who knows how to drive next to you, or you will choose familiar routes. You will drive, you will not take the main road. You will go only through during the daytime, not in the peak hours, right? So you do a lot of those things. That is the associative stage. उसके बाद आता है autonomous stage, जो जब what you see nowadays with all the call taxi and Uber and Ola drivers, right? Earlier we used to tell them don't talk on phone. आजकल तो it has become mandatory, and I've seen some of them are watching YouTube videos and WhatsApp when they are actually driving. Okay, and then I tell them this is the limit, right? But that is a stage where अगर हम गूगल मैप्स को देख के हम ड्राइव कर सकते हैं, किसी से बात करके, फोन में बात करके हम ड्राइव कर सकते हैं, जो हम कॉग्निटिव स्टेज में कभी नहीं कर सकते, राइट? द फर्स्ट स्टेज में हमें वी आर नॉट कॉग्निटिव एसोसिएशन में नहीं होता, लेकिन हम ऑटोनोमस स्टेज में अपने आप हो जाता है. वी टॉक अबाउट मसल मेमोरी, राइट? अपने आप गियर बदलते हैं, अपने आप ब्रेक लगाते हैं, हम उसके बारे में सोचते भी नहीं है. दैट इज द ऑटोनोमस स्टेज. So every learning will go through these stages, and that's what. And by the time we reach the autonomous stage, the brain में भी structural changes हो गए हैं. शुरू में it's only a chemical change. After that, it becomes a structural change. तो इसको हम neuroplasticity कहते हैं, where the brain is able to form new connections and rewire itself. How many of you know about this London taxi drivers? Have you heard of this? Anybody?
Nobody has heard about this.
Okay.
I think nobody.
Right. So लंदन में क्या होता है कि दिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग वीडियो ऑन यूट्यूब, यू कैन फाइंड आउट कि लंदन में जो टैक्सी ड्राइवर्स होते हैं ना, तो उनको लाइसेंस मिलता है टैक्सी ड्राइविंग के लिए. उसके लिए 3 साल लगता है. ओके, फॉर दीज 3 years दे हैव टू मेमोराइज 25,000 स्ट्रीट नेम्स. They have to find out the route for each and every street, and they have to find out what is the shortest distance. So they will also remember landmarks. And when that one video they said like अगर वहाँ कुछ सिनेमा थिएटर है, उसमें कुछ पिक्चर हो रहा है, तो उस पिक्चर को भी हमें याद रखना पड़ता है. Okay, so that's how much they don't use GPS, they don't use Google Maps. Okay, so it's a very difficult thing for them. So almost 30% drop out, 70% पास करते हैं. 3 साल बाद उनको लाइसेंस मिलता है. तो इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट एंड इन पे एक स्टडी किया गया था, उनका ब्रेन को स्कैन करके देखा गया था. So the part of the brain which is responsible for memory, that part is called hippocampus. Okay, this is an area which is responsible for memory. उनके लिए देखा गया था कि ये बड़ा हो गया है. That particular part of the brain has become bigger, enlarged. सभी के लिए. So it's kind of all the drivers had this. Okay, so which means that the brain is not only changing connection, but it's not only at the level of connection, it is also the level of size. Okay, so that's how versatile the brain is. But as I said, it is your memory in, memory out, or garbage in and garbage out. Depends on what we feed. So हम क्या कर रहे हैं अभी, इस डिवाइस के जरिए हम एक्सरसाइज सिखा रहे हैं और हमें एक ऑब्जेक्टिव मेजर मिल रहा है. हमें वी आर एबल टू फाइंड आउट व्हाट इज इट वर्किंग, कितना कर रहा है, एक्यूरेट फीडबैक मिल रहा है. देन वी आर एबल टू ट्रैक इट, मतलब कल कितना था, आज कितना है. Okay, so we are able to track it, and because I can track it, I'm also able to find out what is working and what is not working. Okay, क्या काम कर रहा है, क्या काम नहीं कर रहा है. So, okay, because I can find out ना कि अगर मैं ट्रैक कर रहा हूँ मुझे कोई फर्क ही नहीं महसूस हो रहा है, तो it means something that I'm trying in between is not working. For example, I want to lose weight. Okay, I'm checking my body weight every day, right? So or every week, let's say. And in this 1 week, I'm going to do something. Let me say I'll skip certain type of food, or I'll do some intermittent fasting, or I will avoid sugar. कुछ तो कर रहा हूँ मैं एक वजन कम होने के लिए, right? So अगर क्या वो स्ट्रैटेजी काम कर रहा है कि नहीं काम कर रहा है, वो हमें पता चल जाता है. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वी कैन कस्टमाइज. ओके, आपके लिए ये काम नहीं कर रहा है, किसी और के लिए कर रहा है, तो आपको ये करना चाहिए, उनको ये नहीं करना चाहिए, या उससे कोई फायदा नहीं हो रहा है. एंड फाइनली यू आर एबल टू फाइंड आउट, and you don't lose precious time, because otherwise you will always it's a trial and error, right? So you will have to wait longer for that. So with JOGO, there's an active involvement of the person, क्योंकि डिवाइस से करंट नहीं आ रहा है, हम खुद देख के कर रहे हैं. सो पर्सन हैज टू बी एक्टिव. ऑब्जेक्टिव है, वी आर एबल टू मसल रिलैक्स अ मसल, वी आर एबल टू ट्रैक प्रोग्रेस, एंड द पर्सन इज आल्सो मोटिवेटेड, क्योंकि इसमें आपको 1000x मैग्नीफाइड आउटपुट हो रहा है. तो आप छोटा सा भी कोशिश करें, especially it happens with stroke patients because the muscle is not working well. So even the smallest effort, this can magnify and show you. So that is a positive reinforcement for them, and you can also validate the effectiveness. So just to give you a few things about our company, this is JCI accredited center. So JCI मतलब आप लोग NABH के बारे में सुना होगा. NABH is the National Accreditation Board for Hospital. हॉस्पिटल का क्वालिटी के लिए इंडिया में है JCS International. So we are the only JCI accredited rehab center in the country. Okay, all the big hospitals like Apollo or the Fortis, some of these Fortis have JCI accreditation. So we are the only rehab center. And we have Harvard Medical School, which is a very popular school for popular medical university in US. We have done 2 studies with them, one on chronic low back pain and one on migraine headache. And Mayo Clinic is the #1 hospital in the world, and they are an investor in JOGO. And we're doing a study with them on tremor. जो Parkinson's में shaking होता है, उसके बारे में हम tremor study कर रहे हैं. So there are a few patient videos where we were able to help them. As you can see that she's struggling to reach out for the bottle, and after 1 month she's able to do this, and even the elbow is not supported, she's able to hold it and drink it. As I said, device में से कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, person themselves are learning with the help of the device. The device is more of an enabler. This is a patient with stroke, and as you can see, like he is not able to hold on to the peg, and just less than 10 seconds he drops it. And we were able to measure it, and we were able to help him to hold it for more than 50 seconds. Fix it. His goal was writing, so that's why this activity was chosen. They were able to go back home. The patient with Parkinson's.
திரும்ப முடியல, டர்ன் பண்ண முடியலையா? சரி, ஓகே.
So this is before. We were saying that he's not able to turn. You can see the never too late. And this is a small video on how we can help patients with incontinence or urine leaks. Because many times we think that it is part of aging, and we also, in fact, one patient who was referred by a doctor for treatment in 2021, but he came to us in 2023. Okay, and he told me that 2 years back doctor referred, and at that time I didn't do it, but I spent more than 1.5 lakhs on diapers only. Okay, for over the past 2 years. And so the problem is that once you start living on diaper, you have to carry it for the rest of the life. So the advantage we have is we are able to teach how to use pelvic floor muscles, and we have separate trained pelvic floor.
Our pelvic floor muscles form a supportive hammock under the bladder and urethra, working together with the urinary sphincter by keeping the bladder closed when it's not time to urinate. When these muscles weaken or the urinary sphincter is damaged, it leads to stress urinary incontinence, making it harder to control the urine flow during actions like sneezing, laughing, or lifting heavy weights. Urge urinary incontinence occurs due to an overactive detrusor muscle, causing involuntary bladder contractions and leakage. Factors like pregnancy, aging, obesity, chronic coughing, and certain pelvic and prostate surgeries can weaken these muscles, reducing urinary control. Leading medical societies recommend biofeedback-assisted pelvic floor muscle training as a non-surgical treatment for urinary incontinence. JOGO is a precision-driven EMG biofeedback for pelvic floor muscle training. For urinary incontinence, patients are treated by retraining the pelvic floor muscle. As the patient performs controlled pelvic floor exercises under expert guidance, the device captures the muscle activity through EMG readings and displays it on the screen. JOGO can treat urinary incontinence by targeting the precise muscle. In females, JOGO surface electrodes are placed on the bulbocavernosus muscle, and in males, they are placed on the ischiocavernosus muscle. Real-time biofeedback ensures correct retraining of the targeted muscle and thus facilitates neuroplasticity. For urinary incontinence, JOGO therapy is recommended as a structured program of 10 sessions once a week. JOGO is available in India at 50+ hospitals, home care, and tele-rehab services worldwide.
Okay, so that's a brief about the company. So let's come back to what we're discussing. And we realized that exercise is important, and we had discussed about the part of aging. So let's do a couple of, there's a couple of tests. Those of you who can actually try this on your own, you can do it live. You don't have to switch on the video also, just for your own understanding, and we are not doing any formal assessment here. There are 3 things that we actually look at in the elderly population, especially with respect to fall prevention. Okay, so we're trying to understand what is a fall risk score and what is the likelihood of a fall to happen. And for that, we do certain tests. The first test is called as the timed up and go test. Okay, so here we ask the person to get up from the chair, walk, and then come back. I'll just play a short video on this.
The timed up and go, or TUG, tests functional mobility. To perform the test, you need a chair and a stopwatch, or a wristwatch with a second hand. Have your patient start by sitting on the chair, feet flat on the floor, one foot slightly in front of the other, and hands on the armrests of the chair. Put a line on the floor 10 feet or 3 meters away.
So it's a 10
Ask
feet
your patient
distance. We ask the person to get up, walk 10 feet, come back and sit on the chair. Okay, so, and we are looking at how much time they are taking. It's a timed test. So timed up and go test.
Stand up from the chair and walk at her normal pace to the line if your patient has not started to move. And between the chair and the line, step height, stride length,
So
arm swing, and half.
And an ideal score should be less than 10 seconds. For 10 feet, you should take less than 10 seconds to be able to get up, go, come back. And if it is more than 14 seconds, then we will have to look at further assessments, like check whether your muscle is weak or something. Okay, so that would be the first thing. Does someone want to do that? I can give a short break if you want to get up and try. As I said, you don't have to switch on your video.
Why not? Everybody can try it. We'll get an idea. You will also get an idea. Are you able to do it or not?
You have to note down the time taken, okay, which means you should have some, at least a phone with stopwatch. Or
Suniti ji, try करेंगे? Just have to get up, walk that 10 feet distance and come back. Time करना है अपने आप को.
हाँ कर सकते हैं, क्या करें?
आपको आपके पास फोन है आपके पास?
हाँ है ना.
तो उसमें आपको 10 seconds में देखना है. Can you walk 10 feet and come back? 10 feet. Okay, Karthik?
Okay.
yeah, so see, what we have to do first is not to hurry up the person. So you have to get up, walk 10 feet, come back and sit. Okay, and then check how much time you took.
Okay.
Not the other way around. Okay.
तो वो स्टॉपर लगाऊं?
Yes.
आप स्टॉप वॉच शुरू कीजिए और देखिए कि 10 फीट चल के वापस आने के लिए आपको कितना समय लगता है. Okay, it's completely voluntary and please be safe.
Okay,
This
10
is a-
feet चल के.
This is a
Okay.
webinar and we are all virtual. We are not physically there to support you. Just check out what time it takes for you to get up, walk 10 feet, come back.
Okay.
And sit.
Okay.
Lalita ma'am, I would request आप भी करो, Pradeep sir,
नहीं
everyone.
तो आप याद रखिएगा. After the session you can try and see कि आप 10 feet कितने देर में चल पाते हैं.
$50.
15 seconds. Okay. Yeah, the formal measurement will have, obviously we will mark 10 feet kitna hai, kahan par hai, it should be unobstructed, it should be a level flooring and all of that, and just giving you a hint on how it's important. And more than 14 seconds, matlab we have to work on this.
यहाँ पे तो बेडरूम में बेड भी है, सामान है, तो चलना
आप घूम फिर के आए होगे, yeah, and I also saw you got up, you turned and then went.
हाँ.
It should be a straight path. So there
हाँ,
are
straight
other
path है ये
variables.
ना, हाँ.
Yeah, exactly.
फिर
Idea here is
जाना और वो सब.
give you an understanding.
हेलो,
Thank you.
मुझे
Thanks for trying.
मुझे 21 सेकंड लगे. मुझे 21 सेकंड लगे.
Asha ma'am.
Shanti.
Thank you very much. Please make a note of this.
Yes.
Just to give a few things. It should be a straight path. And you should exactly measure 10 feet because
हाँ ऐसा ही.
right
अब
now-
आगे स्ट्रेट चल के फिर देखेंगे उसको.
आशा आंटी, आपको भी सामने सामान वामान मिला होगा ना घर में. So he's saying it has to be a clear straight path. चलिए
हाँ.
उसको फिर कभी गार्डन में कहीं
हाँ, हाँ.
नीचे बालकनी में करके देखेंगे.
हाँ बालकनी में करके देखूंगी, फिर बताऊंगी.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
there's one more test which I wanted to share. That this test is called as the excuse me.
The time
30-second chair stand test. Okay. इसमें हम we ask the, I'll just play the video. We'll ask the person to sit to stand. Chair से उठ के बैठना है. 30 seconds में कितने बार कर सकते हैं? Okay, that's what we do.
The 30-second chair stand tests functional lower body strength. To administer, keep her feet flat on the floor all the way and then sit back down, doing this as quickly as she can until you say stop. Arms should remain folded across her chest throughout the test. Stand close enough so that you can catch the patient if she loses her balance. The 30-second chair
Clear? तो इस 30 second में हम 30 second is the time limit. उसमें हम 3 बार कर सकते हैं, 10 बार कर सकते हैं. That is what we are going to check. Okay,
Yes,
you
yes.
can also try if you want.
Is there again a minimum that one should
I have done
10 अब डाउन किए. 30 seconds में 10 times.
मैं टाइम नहीं बता रहा, मैं बाद में बताऊंगा. अभी नहीं बताऊंगा. आप पहले कीजिए, देखिए क्या 30 सेकंड में आप कितने बार कर पा रहे हैं, उसके बाद हम विल डिस्कस.
30 seconds में 10 time किया है मैंने.
10 टाइम्स किया, वेरी गुड.
30 seconds.
Okay. And try not to use your hands to push through the chair
Okay.
when you get up.
Eleven time.
11 times. Okay, great.
पर मेरे को सपोर्ट लेना पड़ता है, स्ट्रेट नहीं उठ सकती, बिना सपोर्ट के उठ नहीं सकती.
Okay,
मैंने 6 times किया.
very good. Super.
Wow.
Right. So there are some guidelines which has different time for age depending on age. But मतलब 60 to 64 के लिए एक वैल्यू होता है, 90 to 94 के लिए अलग सा value होता है. So it varies from person to person. It's not as simple as the timed up and go test. So किसी को भी अगर women को if it is less than 12, if you're more than 60 and if you're standing less than 12 times, मतलब आपका lower body strength जो है वो कम है. When I'm talking about lower body, I'm talking about leg strength. Okay. So if it is less than 12 for anybody, 60 to 64 में. Okay. So 90 to 94 में, if it is less than 4, okay, it means your strength is poor. So the age के मुताबिक ये बदलता है. Okay, I will share these details with Mrs. Reema, and probably she can also circulate. So these two tests were primarily for you to understand where you are. Okay, and maybe you can you need to have more physical activity required.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me go back to my screen. And so we just note down these values pre and post and see how we are able to improve. And then we are primarily focusing on, so these are the conditions we are treating, which incontinence हो सकता है, voiding भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि कुछ लोगों को यूरिन पास करने में मुश्किल होती है. So that's called as voiding dysfunction. Similarly with gastro, it is constipation भी हो सकता है या फिर fecal incontinence भी हो सकता है. And we're present in 10 cities, 50 plus leading hospital, Fortis, Care Hospital, Hyderabad, Ramaya in Bangalore, GEM in Chennai and Coimbatore, Fortis chain in Fortis Gurugram mein hai, hum hai. So there are different hospitals where there. So to sum it up, just a couple of slides more. There are some popular myths which we discussed. Myth 1, we need to work out only in the morning. No, जरूरी नहीं है, हम कभी भी कर सकते हैं, consistent होना जरूरी है. Women should not do resistance training, ऐसा भी नहीं है, because only with resistance you develop muscle strength. So resistance is important. Walking after consuming food is not good. वो भी पुराना studies उसके पुराना ख्याल था. अब नया studies आ गया है जो कहते हैं कि walking after good food is good. Of course, it's not going to be a brisk walking. It will be a टहलना होना चाहिए. Okay, not a brisk walking. And sports drinks are essential for proper workout. आप अगर if you are somebody who goes to gym 10-30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, then आपके लिए sports drinks तो होना चाहिए, जरूरी नहीं है. Good hydration before starting workout is enough. And the last and final myth: I don't have time for exercise. Okay. So if you don't have time, just make your activities part of your routine. Okay. जैसे मैंने कहा कि one small suggestion: keep your phone 10 feet away. मोबाइल फोन जब भी आपको नोटिफिकेशन आ रहा है, व्हाट्सएप मैसेज देखना है या फोन करना है, किसी का कॉल आ रहा है, उठ के जाइए, फोन उठा के, जैसे वी यूज्ड टू हैव अ लैंडलाइन, राइट? ट्रीट योर मोबाइल फोन एज अ लैंडलाइन. आई एम श्योर यू विल गेट अप 20 times a day minimum, right? And some key takeaways: sit less, move more. Just like we say, talk less, work more. This is sit less, move more. And walk or cycle when possible. Take stairs instead of elevator. Every minute of exercise or movement counts. Okay, har ek pal is important. If you get an opportunity, please do that. Starting an exercise routine at any age has benefits. Get an exercise buddy. Find somebody who also is interested, who wants to improve, so that you mutually motivate each other. Limit screen time as much as you can, or if you are decided, okay, I have to watch this mega serial, please see if you can watch in standing instead of sitting. Okay. and support community projects. It's also good for your social connections. I'll stop here. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Anyone have any question?
So
The first question is,
Tanya, just before thank you, Dr. Karthik. So I just wanted to share, there was this LinkedIn post today written by marketing communication specialist, Mr. Karthik Srinivasan. He's a very famous marketing communication person. So he has put up a post saying that for the last 10 years or more, he has been running 5 kilometers every morning. हर रोज सुबह वो 5 किलोमीटर भागते हैं. But he has been discovered with a heart problem and उनको 2 stent लगे. So he could not figure out, saying that he is so regular with his exercise that almost like 6 days a week at least he runs for 5 kilometers. Somebody who exercises so much, how could he have a heart problem? So what he has discovered, and obviously after speaking to health specialists, is that आपका movement just in one part of the day is not enough. What Dr. Karthik was also saying, that we need to keep moving throughout the day. हम अगर सोचे कि हाँ हमने सुबह 1 घंटा वॉक कर लिया और बाकी पूरा दिन हम अपने चेयर और टेबल और बेड पे बिताए, दैट इज नॉट अ गुड हेल्दी वर्क एक्सरसाइज फिजिकल एक्टिविटी प्रैक्टिस. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि हम पूरा दिन कुछ ना कुछ मूवमेंट करते रहे. सो उन्होंने एग्जांपल अच्छा दिया कि मोबाइल फोन को थोड़ा दूर रखें. हमारी आदत है बहुत मोबाइल फोन उठाने की. आई थिंक समथिंग आई शुड आल्सो स्टार्ट इम्प्लीमेंटिंग. तो फोन बजेगा या आपको मैसेज देखना है तो आप उठ के जाएंगे. So now there are even आपके phones पे you can put alerts to say कि या अगर आप कोई आजकल घड़ियां आती हैं, बेसिक घड़ियों में भी स्टेप मेजरमेंट आता है, वो अलर्ट देते हैं every hour that you have not moved. या अपने आप अगर कॉन्शियस नहीं रख पाए तो एक सिंपल वैसी वाली घड़ी भी पहन सकते हैं which gives an alert saying कि मिनिमम अपना टारगेट रखिए कि हाँ every hour 200 to 250 steps. और कुछ नहीं, हम घर में तो बैल्कनी तक चले गए, किचन तक चले गए, बाहर चले गए. So apart from that exercise that we may be doing कि सुबह कर लेते हैं या शाम को कर लेते हैं, throughout the day हम कितना move करते हैं is very important. So just struck me when he was speaking कि आज ही वो आर्टिकल हमने पढ़ा, न्यूज़पेपर में भी वो आर्टिकल छपा है कि how हम लोगों को बहुत गलत फहमी होती है that if we are exercising like in the morning or the evening that is good enough, but the movement through the day is important. So I just wanted to add that. And now I'm handing back to Shania. If you have any questions, and Shania, you can just take it forward from here.
buddy, any question? You can unmute yourself. You can ask your question.
I
Yes,
can say
sir.
that if you
Yes.
keep moving every whole day, like you don't sit at a place for more than half an hour or so, and you keep moving away from the place every 15-20 minutes, and that is enough, I think. And normally we elders, we don't sit like that. The young generation I have seen, they sit for a long hours, but older generations, we normally we move. We don't stick to one place. This is what I have seen.
Yes, sir.
They
It's
always
good.
keep themselves busy.
Yeah, it's good to be busy. It's good to be moving.
Yeah.
The body is designed to be moving.
नॉर्मली बैठते नहीं हैं हम लोग भी, अपनी उम्र में आने के बाद भी हम लोग इतना से बैठते नहीं है. But I have seen the young generation sitting hours together for on a seat or on a bed or like that.
Yes.
But not the older generation.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your comment.
I had a question. I put it on chat कि आप जो जोगो का डिवाइस दिखा रहे थे for to understand what the muscle activity is like. So is it used when we start discovering some issues in our muscles, or proactively also do you advise people after a certain age to start looking at muscle activity?
We can do both. We can do both. Because it, as I said, इसमें कोई current कुछ शरीर के अंदर नहीं जा रहा है. So it's basically almost like your Fitbit or something which is capturing your heart rate, your sleep time and all of that. So something like that. So it can also be used proactively.
नीति मैम, आशा मैम, any question? कोई भी question आपके पास है आप पूछ सकते हैं. Kiran
last,
ma'am, Pradeep sir.
just to give an information, in fact, I didn't highlight on that. I was talking about the benefits, and on that, there's a picture of me standing in a conference. Last previous week, I was in Hong Kong, and I had attended a conference on longevity, how to live longer and healthier. That was the discussion. And then the world is actually moving towards that. We want to, the first goal is like we should be find out a formula for, because there are some blue zones, right? I'm sure you might have heard of it. In Japan and some other areas, they have a blue zone where people live longer and healthier.
Yeah.
From those people, we had the Western societies now trying to understand कि क्या कर रहे हैं, that is actually helping them. And so this conference was about longevity. And we were discussing a lot about how we can prevent and proactively avoid or make sure that we have a good quality of life. Yeah. Any questions?
Okay. अगर किसी के पास कोई question नहीं है, तो I would like to ask one thing. So, what is the key takeaway from this session, today's session? And so I want to ask any key takeaway, Jain sir, Asha ma'am.
चलते रहो, चलते रहो.
चलते रहो.
एक और one thing that you will do differently. कुछ ऐसा चीज जो आज के सेशन के बाद आपको लगता है कि मैं नहीं करता, मैं नहीं करती. मैंने डिसाइड किया कि मैं अपना मोबाइल फोन दूर रखने वाली हूँ, अपने टेबल पे या अपने बेड के पास नहीं रखने वाली हूँ. कोई शेयर करेगा? Any one thing that you think that you may want to do differently?
मैडम मोबाइल दूर रखे या ना रखे, लेकिन चलते रहो. लेकिन मेरा कहना ये है, because mobile is one thing only. There are so many other things in life.
Yeah, Suniti ma'am.
हमको लगेगा कि हम बहुत देर हो गई बैठे हुए, तो ब्रेक के लिए हम उठेंगे, चाहे पानी पीने के लिए उठे, चाहे कुछ करने के लिए उठेंगे, या कुछ थोड़ा सा काम किया. ऐसा आगे से अब हम करेंगे. ऐसा अभी हम नहीं करते थे, लंबा लंबा टाइम लेटे रहते थे. अब आगे से ये करेंगे. हमें नहीं पता था कितना लंबा टाइम नहीं लेटना चाहिए. अब आगे से हम ब्रेक देंगे, उठेंगे, कुछ भी करेंगे, घर का काम करेंगे या ऐसे राउंड लगा के आ जाएंगे, पानी पी के आ जाएंगे, करेंगे कुछ.
मैं तो करती हूँ भाई.
मैं भी करती हूँ.
किरण मैम कुछ
नहीं, मैं बताना चाहती हूँ कि मैं आई हैव ऑलवेज बीन डूइंग दिस. कभी भी मैं पानी हम लोग पास में नहीं रखते. आई कीप इट ऑन द डाइनिंग टेबल. जब पीना हो उठ के जाओ, बॉटल से डालो, पियो. एक तो ठंडा पानी हम नहीं पीते, रूम टेम्परेचर पीते हैं. और कभी भी बैठ के ज्यादा देर नहीं रहते. आई कीप वॉकिंग अराउंड द हाउस. कभी कोई काम है जा करके बोल करके आओ. इंटरकॉम नहीं यूज करती मैं. आई जस्ट वॉक टू द किचन एंड देन टेल कि ये चाहिए.
I would like to just excuse me for I have to move on for another meeting. Ms. Reema and Shania, if you can excuse me, I'll move on.
No
Yeah,
issues.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Thank you all.
No issues, sir. Thank you so much. It was a very informative session for all of us, every generation. It's not only for the elders. Thank you so much for giving this wonderful information to us and joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
ठीक है, थैंक यू सो मच.